In every village, on every land, there are stories whispered by elders. Stories born from the mistakes of men. Stories that remind us that danger doesn't always strike from outside. Sometimes, it is something we invite with our own hands. This is the tale of Adagba, the man who borrowed trouble. A story of curiosity, pride, and a question that no human should ever ask. The village of Odiu, nestled between rolling farmlands and a forest older than memory, lived in peace. People farmed, fished, married, quarreled, and made amends. Life was simple. But among them lived one man who could never accept simple. His name was Adagba, son of Otto. A man with sharp eyes, a sharper tongue, and a mind that refused to rest. Where others asked questions, Adagba demanded answers. Where others trusted the flow of life, Adagba wanted control. He believed that if a man could know tomorrow, he could conquer it. And that belief, as innocent as it sounded, was the first seed of trouble. Adagba was known everywhere as the man who wanted to understand everything. Why the rains came late. Why the chief made certain decisions. Why one harvest thrived while another failed. Why two people fell in love. Why another fell sick. But his greatest obsession was fate. He wanted to know it, predict it, control it. And so he spent his days visiting elders, asking questions they had no answers for. He visited traveling merchants and healers, pestering them with inquiries about destiny, the spirit world, and the future. Many found him amusing. Some found him irritating. But one day, someone found him dangerous. It happened on a hot afternoon while Adagba was pestering grandmother Ijera, the oldest woman in Odio. Ijera was said to be over 100 years old, thin as a broomstick, as bright with the fire of ages. Adagba arrived with his usual intensity. Adagba. Grandmother Ijera, you have lived long. Tell me, is the future fixed, or can a man shape it? The old woman stared at him for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Ijua. Why must you know what tomorrow holds when today is still breathing? Adagba leaned forward. Adagba. Because knowledge is power. If a man knows what lies ahead, he can avoid danger. Ijua slowly shook her head. Ijua. Or he may run straight into it. Her voice took on a colder tone. Ijera. Listen well, Adagba, those who search for tomorrow often lose today. The spirits do not take kindly to mortals who demand what is not theirs to see. But Adagba only smiled. Adagba. Then I will find a spirit who will speak. Ijera's eyes darkened. Ijera. Be careful, my son. Trouble is easy to borrow, but hard to return. Adagba left with her warning ringing in his ears, and ignored every word. He told himself grandmother Ijera was only trying to frighten him with old woman tales. He told himself that the future belonged to the brave. He told himself that if others feared knowledge, that was their weakness. But arrogance, as the elders say, is a disease that blinds a man long before it kills him. One evening, sitting under a large udala tree, Adagba overheard two hunters speaking. Hunter 1. Have you heard? The oracle in the forbidden forest is awake again. Hunter 2. That spirit. The one who answers any question, if you dare ask. Adagba froze. The hunters continued. Hunter 1. They say a man should not go there unless he is ready to pay a price. Hunter 2. Of course. Spirits don't speak for free. Adagba's heart thumped with excitement. This was what he had been searching for. A way to finally know the future. To demand answers. To control destiny itself. That night, he hardly slept. The next morning before sunrise, Adagba packed a small bag. A calabash of water, kola nuts, and a machete. He tied a small charm around his wrist, not for protection, but for bravery. He did not tell his wife. He did not tell his mother. He did not tell anyone. He walked toward the forbidden forest of Emalu, a place where even warriors hesitated to step. The deeper he went, the thicker the silence became. Birds stopped singing. Even the wind refused to blow. Adagba's steps slowed. A chill crawled up his spine. But pride pushed him forward. After hours of walking, he reached a clearing lit by pale sunlight. In its center stood a small hut woven from vines and bones, something not built by human hands. From inside, a voice rose. Voice, echoing. Enter, if you seek what you cannot return. Adagba swallowed hard and stepped inside. Inside the hut, darkness wrapped around him like a shroud. The air smelled of ancient soil and burning herbs. Then, two glowing eyes opened. A figure sat cross-legged, a tall, shadowy being with limbs too long to be human. Oracle. You have come with questions. Many questions. Adagba nodded, trembling but determined. Adagba. Yes. I want to know my future. The oracle tilted its head. Oracle. A dangerous request. Humans are not meant to know what lies ahead. Adagba clenched his fist. Adagba. But I must know. Tell me what my tomorrow holds. A long silence. Then the oracle leaned forward. Oracle. The future you seek will destroy you. Adagba's voice hardened. Adagba. I will take that risk. Tell me. The oracle sighed, if a spirit could sigh. Oracle. Very well. But you must understand, knowing destiny changes destiny. Adagba said nothing. The oracle raised its hand, and the hut dissolved into swirling darkness. Adagba felt himself falling, then saw visions around him like clouds. A woman weeping. A house burning. A crowd shouting. A man being dragged away. Blood on a threshold. Shadows chasing each other. A face he could not recognize. And then darkness. Then the oracle spoke the words that would destroy his life. Oracle. You will be the cause of your family's greatest sorrow. Silence. Adagba's heart pounded. Adagba. What? No, explain. How? Who? When? But the oracle leaned back. Oracle. The future has been revealed. There is no more to say. Leave, and never return. And with that, the hut's door flung open behind him. Adagba stumbled out, the oracle's words echoing in his skull. He would be the cause of his family's greatest sorrow. But how? When? Why? He needed answers. He needed clarity. He needed control. And that desperation was the beginning of his downfall. By the time Adagba reached the village, night had fallen. His wife, Amora, ran to him, relieved and angry. Amora. Where have you been? I searched everywhere. Why did you disappear without a word? Adagba stared at her, trembling. What if she was part of the sorrow? What if he hurt her somehow? What if Esechi hurt him? He stepped back from her embrace. Amora frowned. Amora. Adagba, what is wrong? But he only shook his head. That night he could not sleep. Amora reached for him, he pulled away. His children approached him, he avoided them. His mother visited, he refused to speak. Adagba began watching everyone around him like a trapped animal. The man who wanted the future, feared the present. He started imagining threats where there were none. Accusing shadows. Doubting loved ones. Suspecting betrayal in every corner. Every day, he repeated the oracle's words. You will be the cause of your family's greatest sorrow. The prophecy twisted inside him like a worm. And the more he tried to avoid fate, the closer he came to fulfilling it. In the days that followed, Adagba became a different man. The once confident, loud, curious villager now moved quietly, cautiously, suspiciously. He stopped sitting at the village square. He stopped joining in palm wine nights. He ate alone, slept facing the door, and kept his machete close. People whispered. Villager 1. What happened to Adagba? Did someone bewitch him? Villager 2. Maybe he offended the gods. But only one person truly worried. Amora, his wife. She tried again and again to reach him. Amora. Talk to me, my husband, let me share your burden. But Adagba pushed her away. He wasn't trying to be cruel. He was trying to protect her. From him. Or at least, that's what he believed. Every time he looked at her, the oracle's voice echoed. You will be the cause of your family's greatest sorrow. So he kept his distance. Not knowing that distance itself creates sorrow. Not knowing that fear is louder than any prophecy. One morning, Amora returned from the stream carrying a pot of water. She placed it gently beside the cooking hot and wiped sweat from her brow. Adagba, who had been watching from behind the tree, stiffened. The pot slipped from her hands earlier than usual. The pot broke. The water spilled. A small domestic accident. But in Adagba's mind, it was a sign. Adagba, whispering to himself. It begins, something is happening. He ran to Amora, grabbing her arms. Adagba. Why did you drop it? Who told you to break it? What does this mean? Amora stared at him, stunned. Amora. Adagba, it was just a pot. My hand slipped. But Adagba was unconvinced. Adagba. No. No accident is just an accident. Something is coming. Amora gently touched his cheek. Amora. Something is wrong with you. Tell me what happened. Let me help. But Adagba jerked away as though her touch burned him. He muttered to himself the whole day, pacing back and forth, refusing food. After days of strange behavior, Amora could no longer stay silent. She went to Adagba's mother first, Mama Otto, a strong, kind woman known in the village for her wisdom. Mama Otto arrived at their compound, her wrapper tied tightly around her waist. She found her son sitting alone under the udala tree, staring into nothing. Mama Otto. My son. I heard disturbing things. Why do you avoid your children? Why do you starve yourself? What burdens your spirit? Adagba looked up, eyes hollow. Adagba. Mother. I cannot tell you. If I speak, I will bring disaster. Mama Otto knelt beside him. Mama Otto. Keeping secrets is what breeds disaster. Tell me. But Adagba shook his head violently. Adagba. No. You don't understand. The future, my future, our future, it is poisoned. Mama Otto's heart tightened. Mama Otto. What happened in that forest you went to? Adagba froze. Mama Otto. Yes. Amora told me. You disappeared that day and returned changed. Did you go to the forbidden forest? Adagba gripped his head. Adagba. I went, and I destroyed everything. He would say nothing more. Mama Otto stood up slowly, fear creeping into her chest. She went to the village council. The elders of Odiu gathered beneath the shade of the Iroko tree. Short, silent, solemn. Grandmother Ijira was carried there, her old bones wrapped in thick cloth, eyes glowing with age and intuition. Mama Otto confessed everything. Adagba's trip to the forest. His paranoia. His refusal to speak. The growing fear in their household. Grandmother Ijira closed her eyes and sighed deeply. Ijua. I warned him. I told him trouble is easy to borrow, but hard to return. Elder Nwok, the chief's advisor, shook his head. Nwok. The boy's curiosity has opened a door that should have remained closed. Another elder leaned forward. Elder, what do we do? Should we send him to the healers? Ajua shook her head slowly. Ajua, this is not illness. This is fear. A fear fed by knowledge he was not meant to carry. Mama Otto's voice trembled. Mama Otto. So how do we help him? Ajua took a deep breath. Ajua. If we do nothing, the fear will consume him. And when fear consumes a man, it consumes everything around him. The elders murmured. Ajua, cont. Adagba must speak. Or the prophecy will bend him until he breaks. But Adagba would not speak. And so the elders decided to watch and wait. Weeks passed. And Adagba's fear became something darker. He stopped sleeping. Stopped bathing. Stopped trusting everyone. One evening, he sat beside his young son, Obis, who was playing with a carved wooden antelope toy. Obi smiled at him. Obis. Papa, will you carve something for me tomorrow? Adagba stared at the boy, really stared, his hands shaking. A terrible thought flashed through his mind. What if this is the sorrow? What if something happens to him? What if I am the cause? He jumped to his feet so fast Obis flinched. Adagba. No. Don't come near me. Obi's toy fell from his hands. Amora rushed in, scooping the frightened child into her arms. Amora. Adagba. Stop this. You're scaring your own family. Adagba grabbed his head, eyes wild. Adagba. I am trying to protect them. Don't you understand? Amora pulled Obis close, tears welling in her eyes. Amora. From what, Adagba? From you. The words struck him like lightning. He stumbled back, breath shaking. And something inside him cracked. Adagba stopped sleeping inside the house. He built a makeshift shelter outside, insisting he needed to keep watch. Every small sound frightened him. A goat bleated, he jumped. A door creaked, he gasped. A child cried, he panicked. He began believing enemies surrounded him. At night, he whispered to the darkness. Adagba. I will not let you hurt my family. I will not be the cause. I refuse. But no one had threatened his family. No one had said anything. No one was against him. The only enemy was the prophecy. And the fear it planted. Amora tried one last time. She approached him at night, hands open, voice trembling but gentle. Amora. Husband, you are breaking. And you are breaking us with you. Let me help. Tell me what happened. Adagba looked at her with tortured eyes. Adagba. If I tell you, everything will fall apart. Amora stepped closer. Amora. It is already falling apart. Tears rolled down Adagba's cheeks. For the first time, he looked at Amora with pure regret. Adagba. I went to the oracle. And he told me I would be the cause of our greatest sorrow. And now, every breath I take feels like a threat to you. Amora's eyes softened with pain. Amora. Oh, Adagba, you should have told me. She reached for his hand. But he snatched it away. Adagba. Don't come close. If something happens to you, if something happens to our children, it will be my fault. His voice cracked into a scream. Amora stepped back, tears streaming down her face. And at that moment, the prophecy tightened its grip. It happened on a quiet evening. The sun was dipping behind the hills, painting the sky gold. Amora was in the kitchen hot, stirring a pot. Obis and his little sister, Edeora, played outside. Mama Otto was weaving a basket nearby. Adagba stood at the edge of the compound, pacing back and forth, mumbling warnings to spirits only he could hear. Then, A clay water pot slipped from Adora's hands and shattered loudly on the ground. The crash jolted Adagba's heart like a spear. He spun around, eyes blazing with terror. Adagba. No. No. This is it. It has begun. The sorrow. The curse. He sprinted toward the children, wild and frantic. Amora screamed. Amora. Adagba, stop. But he wasn't listening. His mind had snapped. He believed the prophecy was attacking his family. And he mistakenly believed he had to stop it. He grabbed Obi's arm too hard, shaking him. Adagba. What did you do? Who told you to drop it? Are they controlling you? Tell me. Obi's burst into tears. Mama Otto ran forward. Mama Otto. Adagba. Release the child. But Adagba was too far gone. Adagba. No. I must prevent it. I must stop the sow before it destroys us. He raised his hand. Not realizing that in the effort to protect his child, he had become the threat. Amora raced toward them, screaming. And the tragedy was seconds away. Seconds. From the prophecy fulfilling itself. The air in the compound thickened. As though the spirits themselves leaned in to witness the moment destiny would unfold. Adagba stood trembling, clutching his son's arm, eyes burning with terror. His breath came in sharp bursts. Sweat ran down his forehead. The world seemed to shrink around him. Nothing existed but his fear. When fear rules a man, he becomes blind to the faces he loves. And deaf to the voices begging him to stop. Mama Otto held out her hands. Mama Otto. My son, release him. You're hurting the child. Obis cried harder, struggling under his father's grip. Adagba's voice cracked as he shouted. Adagba. They want to take him. The prophecy wants him. I will not let sorrow come. Amora sprinted across the courtyard. Her wrapper flew behind her like a red flame, her voice desperate and breaking. Amora. Adagba, please. Leave him. Let him go. But Adagba's mind was drowning in terror. He looked at his son and saw not a child, but a symbol of doom. He believed, truly believed, that he was saving his family. The children cowered. Mama Otto shook with fear. Amora sobbed as she ran. And in that suspended moment, the prophecy hung in the air like a blade, just waiting to fall. Amora reached them just as Adagba raised his hand again. She threw herself between them, shielding her child. Amora. If you touch him, you will have to pass through me. Her voice tore through the air like thunder. Adagba froze, shocked by her defiance. For a brief second, his eyes softened. The man he used to be flickering through the madness. But then, the oracle's words echoed once more. You will be the cause of your family's greatest sorrow. His breath hitched. His grip tightened. And fear swallowed the last of his reason. Amora tried to pry his fingers off Obi's arm. Amora. Let him go. Adagba, let go. Adagba twisted away. Not out of malice, but out of panic. His elbow swung backward. Accidentally. Faster than he intended. There was a dull, sickening sound. A cry choked in Mama Otto's throat. Obis fell to the ground. But it was not Obis who made the sound. It was Amora. She staggered, her hand flying to her forehead. And when she pulled it away, her palm was smeared with blood. A stone behind her had caught her when she fell. But to Adagba, the sight was catastrophic. He dropped to his knees, horror twisting his face. Adagba. No, 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 no. Amora. I didn't mean to, Amora. Amora held her head, dizzy but conscious. She wasn't seriously injured. But to Adagba, it was enough. The prophecy had begun. He staggered back like he'd been shot. Adagba. The sorrow, it's happening. I caused it. I caused it. He fled. Ran blindly out of the compound. Into the night. Vanishing into the darkness. Leaving behind a trail of terrified screams. A bleeding wife. And a prophecy that had just awakened. Adagba ran until his lungs burned and his legs trembled. He ran past the farms. Past the river. Past the boundary stones of Odio. He ran like a man being chased by death itself. But what chased him was his own mind. He collapsed in the middle of the bush, gasping. The forest around him whispered. Leaves crackled. A lonely owl cried in the distance. To Adagba, every sound was a warning. He buried his face in his hands, shaking violently. Adagba. I hurt her. I hurt them. I became the sorrow. I brought it. The oracle was right. He slammed his fist into the ground. Adagba. If I stay, I will destroy them all. He lifted his head slowly. Eyes hollow, broken, defeated. Adagba. I must leave. Forever. The decision shattered him. But in his madness, he believed it was the only way to save his family. Back in the compound, Mama Otto tended Amora's wound. Obis and Edeora clung to one another, shaken and silent. Neighbors began gathering, drawn by the commotion. Murmurs filled the air. Villager 1. I heard shouting. What happened? Villager 2. Adagba attacked his family. Villager 3. No, he's bewitched. Something is wrong with him. The elders arrived moments later. Grandmother Ijora, leaning heavily on her walking stick, surveyed the scene with sorrow-filled eyes. She examined Amora, then the broken pot on the ground, then the trail of footprints leading out of the compound. Ijora. It has happened. Mama Otto burst into tears. Mama Otto. My son, my only son, he is losing himself. How do we save him? Ijora closed her eyes. Ijora. Some destinies change because we fight them. Some change because we fear them. And some, because we believe in them too deeply. She turned to the elders. Ijora. We must find Adagba before he harms himself or loses his soul completely. The search party was assembled immediately. Warriors. Healers. Elders. Family. They lit torches and set out into the dark. The entire village moved like a single heartbeat. Afraid of what they might find. The night was cruel. Cold wind. Shaking leaves. Distant animal cries. The torches flickered as the searchers called out. Searchers. Adagba. Adagba. Come home. Mama Otto's voice was the loudest. Raw, desperate, trembling. Mama Otto. Adagba, my son. Please. Come home. But the forest swallowed her cries whole. Deep inside the bush, Adagba lay curled beneath a tree, shivering. Every shout from the search party sounded like an accusation. Come home. Became. You are a failure. Adagba. Became. You are the cell. His mind twisted everything. At one point, he even heard Amora's voice calling his name. He covered his ears. Adagba. No, no, I can't face you. I hate you. I hate everyone. He pressed his forehead against the earth. Adagba. I must disappear, before the prophecy takes more from me. Hours passed. Dawn was near. Fog gathered around the trees as the searchers spread out in wider circles. Then, one of the hunters, Okachuku, spotted something near the riverbank. Footprints. fresh ones. He followed them carefully. They led to a narrow path, running along a steep slope. Beside the river, Okochukwu's voice broke the morning silence. Okochukwu. Here. I found tracks. The others rushed over. Mama Otto, barely able to breathe. Amora limping but determined. Warriors with spears. Healers clutching charms. They followed the trail to the edge of the riverbank. And there, they saw him. Adagba stood on a large rock near the rushing river. His clothes torn. His face swollen from crying. His hair wild. He looked like a ghost wearing human skin. Mama Otto gasped. Mama Otto. Adagba. Amara cried out, her voice cracking with pain. Amara. My husband. Please calm down. Adagba turned slowly. His eyes were empty. Deep. Broken. He saw them. But not as family. Not as love. Not as people trying to save him. He saw them as victims he needed to protect. From himself. He raised a shaking hand. Adagba. Stay back. Please. Stay back. Mama Otto shook her head fiercely. Mama Otto. No. Don't do this. Come home, my son. Adagba stepped backward. Heels touching the edge of the rock. The river roared beneath him. His voice was barely a whisper. Adagba. I became the sorrow. Just like the oracle said. If I stay, I will destroy you. Amora fell to her knees. Amora. You didn't destroy us. You are sick with fear. Come home. We will heal together. Adagba's lips trembled. A tear slipped down his cheek. Adagba. I love you. Too much. To stay. He closed his eyes. One last breath left his chest. Adagba. Forgive me. And then, he stepped backward. And vanished into the river. The scream Amora let out shook the forest. Mama Otto collapsed. Searchers rushed forward. But the current was strong. Too strong. By the time they pulled him out, Adagba was gone. His body limp. His face peaceful. As though he'd finally escaped the prophecy that had tormented him. The village mourned him for 7 days. Amora wore white. Mama Otto shaved her head in grief. The elders performed cleansing rites. Grandmother Ijura sat silently beside the grieving family, her eyes heavy. On the 7th day, she spoke the final words. Ijura. The trouble Adagba borrowed was fear. Fear of a future he did not understand. Fear became his master. And fear took his life. She looked at the children. Obi's holding Adora's hand. Their eyes wide with loss. Ijua. Let this be a lesson to all. A man who seeks tomorrow too eagerly may lose today entirely. The people bowed their heads. For the man who borrowed trouble and paid with everything he loved. In life, we all fear the unknown. We all wish to see tomorrow before it comes. But the truth whispered across generations is simple. Some knowledge is not a blessing. Some answers are not meant for mortal hands. And some destinies only become real when we believe in them too much. Adagba's story lives on. Not as a tale of spirits, but as a tale of human fear. A reminder that we must not let the shadows of tomorrow darken the sunlight of today. This is the legend of the man who borrowed trouble and could not return it.